Good evening, everybody. This is Dan. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you're returning, how you doing? I'm not really going to talk on any particular subject tonight. Just kind of going to bounce all over the place. I get emails from people sometimes asking me, why I do this. Why I get on YouTube, make videos, and so forth. I've had people accuse me of doing it for the money, and I'm not even monetized, and I've gotten one small donation from a viewer, but other than that, I've not made any money. Actually, I've spent more money to make these videos than what I would ever make off of them anyhow. But I do this as an outlet for myself, for one. I do get bored out here on the road. Like right now I'm going to be sitting for about 12 to 14 hours. So, I've read, I like to read a lot of news articles, but then after a while I get tired of reading, and I just want to, have something else to do, and I figure, if I have experiences that I can share with people out here, that could help them, or I have some knowledge that might help them, why not share it? I see a lot of big content makers, pushing stuff that I would not push off on people, because, okay, I know that the majority of the people here don't have that much money, okay, and you can't, I know a lot of you can't afford to go out and buy a piece of land, and I know that everybody has a budget, so I see them pushing stuff like really expensive stuff that's just no sense in spending that kind of money when I can buy something a lot cheaper that works just as good, if not better, in a lot of cases. Just because you spend a lot of money on something doesn't mean that it's actual quality. I mean, I've bought some stuff that was cheap as could be that's better quality than a lot of the stuff that these people push. Take, for instance, the Camp One stove. I've seen some content makers push that, and it's a junk stove. It'll work fine, mid-spring through, maybe October, early fall, mid-fall, but it runs off of a butane canister, and the butane, once the temperature turns cold outside, the butane has a tendency to freeze up. So it's not really worth it. I would tell people just to go and buy them a Coleman camp stove that runs off of propane. You won't have any problems, and it's really not that expensive for them. I mean, hell, I find them all the time on other sites, used but still in good shape, for sale for $10-20 sometimes. Facebook, for instance, yes, I do Facebook. I don't really spend a lot of time on there unless I'm looking for something in their marketplace or whatever, but I'll go into their marketplace all the time and just type in something that I'm searching for, camping supplies or whatever, canning supplies, whatever the item may be. Anyhow, I'll come across camping stoves for $10-20. Fishing poles $5, people selling stuff out of their garage they cleaned out or whatever. But, I have a tendency, I don't want to push expensive stuff on people. If I buy something, all right, I'm going to test it out for a good while before I ever suggest it to anybody. Okay, I've bought a lot of crap, honestly, and it was just that, it was crap, so I don't tell people about it. I just, when it breaks, I throw it away. It was crap. It wasn't worth my money. But if I show you something on here and I tell you about it, you can be guaranteed that I've used it and that it's of good quality and it will suit the purposes that you need it for, and it'll be at a reasonable price. I don't like, sorry, my earpiece is falling out. I need to change out the plug piece on it so it'll fit better. But I don't see the sense in trying to push stuff on people. I'm not affiliated with anybody. Nobody pays me for any advertisements whatsoever. I don't get money from making these videos. I'm not monetized. I've had one person that gave me a contribution. I spend a lot of money on stuff to be able to make these videos, like the earbuds that I just bought with the built-in microphones. But I do this because I enjoy doing it. Okay, and my content may not be the same quality content, I guess you'd call it. I don't put on the big theatrics like a lot of them do. Most of the time I come on here, I'm not scripted whatsoever. I haven't wrote anything down. I talk to you straight off the top of my head and from the bottom of my heart. I want to help people. That's who I am. That's what I do. I've tried to help people for a long time. I've told people flat out I used not to be the best person in the world. I did a lot of despicable things in my life, and I'm not proud of them, but they were learning experiences. And a lot of the stuff that I did, I've been trying to make amends for over the last 20 years. But if I get on here and I start talking about politics, it's because it's something that I'm passionate about. It's something that pissed me off or whatever. And I tell everybody, and I don't ever want anybody to take my word for anything. Please do your own research. Read the articles for yourself. And a lot of times, if you notice, I do post links to articles that I've read that I found interesting, or whatever, so that you can go and read for yourself and make your own mind up about what's going on. I don't want to tell anybody what to think. That's not who I am. I believe everybody should think for themselves, and if you have a different opinion of something then hey, that's your right. I want you to have your own opinion. Don't just agree with me because it's going with the crowd. I don't like the crowd mentality, like the liberal mentality where everybody has to think the same. If you think that I'm wrong about something, I don't have a problem with you talking to me about it. I'm not going to fight with you about it or argue with you about it, but we can discuss it. But I don't expect anybody to just fall in line and blindly follow me or anybody else for that matter. That's kind of the thing that we've been fighting here, I believe, is, we want to fight the mentality that everybody has to be the same, that everybody has to walk lockstep, and no, we're all individuals. We have our own minds. We have our own personalities. We should be allowed to express ourselves as an individual rather than as a group. The group mentality is, people are very intelligent, okay? But people in groups are stupid as hell. It's just the way it is. It's like their IQ drops the more people in the group, the lower the IQ goes. I don't know why it is that way. You would think that people would be able to do like they used to and bounce ideas off of each other, discuss ideas, talk about things, hash them out, without the name calling and the arguing and just the hatred. There's no point in all the hatred. Okay, I don't care for the liberal mentality, but I still talk to liberals And yeah, I get called names a lot by them, but it's because they have no way to back up the things that they say. So when they run out of talking points, then they get mad because they have nothing to refute you with, because you're throwing facts at them and they don't know where to go anymore, because they've ran out of the talking points that the group had given them. I get wrapped up in politics a lot. Honestly, I do, because what happens in politics affects all of us. Okay, and yeah, I've read a lot of stuff about what's going on, and yes, it can be quite scary. I mean, there's some things that are going on that just terrify the crap out of me. I mean, they came right out and said that basically that they want. Well, I shouldn't say basically. They did come out and said that they are trying to hurry along the reset. Okay, this World Economic Forum bullshit, where they want to reset the world's economy and make it all one economy, and it pisses me off, because I mean, I didn't work my entire life to get where I get, only to have it taken away. I've already lost so much in my life. I mean, when I divorced my first wife, I gave her my home and cars and money and all of that. I just wanted out of the marriage. I walked away from a 5-bedroom home and just told her, you can have it. Hell, I gave her a couple of cars, half my bank account, child support, all that stuff, and then I rebuilt my life with my second wife, and when she passed away, her family fought me for custody of my own son, and basically, in order to pay for my lawyers, I went bankrupt and lost everything again. And now I'm starting over again with my third wife. We've been together 5.5 years. And I'm starting to rebuild. Yes, I'm not rebuilding back as good as what I had originally, but I am building back, and that's all a part of life, but I dread the idea that people follow blindly. It happens here in this community just as well as any others. I've seen people blindly follow somebody that they definitely shouldn't follow. I mean, a certain content creator that I'm not going to name his name, but he still has over 4,000 people following him, even after he came out and said everything that he said and caused a big commotion in the community. So it shows that even in this community, you have people that blindly follow. I understand people want to believe the best about people, but when a person says something and you hear it from their own mouths, and then you also discover that they've been lying to you the whole time that they've been making videos. That's not just blindly following, that's just stupidity. I'm sorry, but it is. Originally tonight I was going to get on here and I was going to talk about how if you don't comply with the narrative that's being pushed, that they're going to lie about you and lie about what you're doing to make you conform, to try to force you into conformity. Like, take DeSantis in Florida. Okay, the man is pushing against the narrative that they're trying to, and he has been, during this whole pandemic, he has pushed back, and he's kept his state open, not forcing this or that, so in order to try to make him look bad, 60 Minutes did a story on him, and they claim that because Publix, the store chain, gave $100,000 to his campaign, that he would return the favor by giving them, making them one of the vaccination sites. Okay, that he rewarded them through that. But when they confronted him, he gave an explanation, and just a couple of seconds into his explanation, they kind of overlaid what he was talking about with their own narrative, rather than actually letting everybody out here hear the truth, because he was explaining what was going on. They covered it with a voiceover, a narrative, and they edited it out, anything that they couldn't cover over. So they basically made him look like he was guilty of something that he wasn't really guilty of. And even Democrats in his own state are coming out in his defense, because they know that it's a blatant out and out lie that 60 Minutes was doing, but they're trying to push their narrative. Today DeSantis signed a bill in Florida stating that he would not allow, and it would be illegal to have a vaccine passport in his state. Okay, which is great, because I don't believe in a passport. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. It's just going to cause a lot of hassles for people. It's just another way to divide people. Okay, but if you're not going along with their narrative and you're pushing back, they're gonna come after you. They're gonna lie about you. They're gonna say all sorts of things. Just like in Georgia, where they're redoing the voting laws, they're going after them, and giving a false narrative, talking about, it's a racism, it's Jim Crow 2.0 on steroids and all this stuff, and claiming that this law does that it outlaws you from doing this and all this kind of stuff, which is all lies, because, like Biden was saying, you can't, the bill stops you from being able to give water to somebody that's in the voting line. Okay, first off, that's total bullshit. Okay, anybody can bring you water. It don't matter. What they put a stop to was you had these people for different candidates that would be out there handing out water and campaigning last minute to try to get you to vote for their candidate. So they would come up, hand you water, and start a conversation about voting for their candidate. That's what they made illegal. You can bring water, you can bring food. Hell, you can have food delivered there if you wanted to. They're not trying to stop that. They're trying to stop the solicitation of a vote. Okay, that's what they're trying to stop. That is what they outlawed. They did not outlaw people bringing you water. Okay, so Biden's lying to you there. Just flat out and out lie. Okay, and how is it that they want this passport thing, right? Which is a form of ID. It proves that you've been vaccinated, but yet they don't want an ID to prove who you are to vote. But you have to have an ID to prove that you had a vaccine. How? And the thing is, in Georgia, they're claiming that it suppresses the minority votes, the black people and Hispanic people and so forth are either too stupid or not capable of going out and getting an ID. Okay, the state of Georgia will issue you a free, no cost ID. Okay, so if somebody's not got an ID in Georgia, that's their own fault, because they're really easy to get. Okay, so if you don't have an ID, it's either because you're not a legal citizen, or because you're just too damn lazy to go and get a free ID. Okay, there's no other explanation. So for them to claim that it's suppressing the minority votes because minorities can't get an ID, or they don't know how to get an ID, or they're too dumb to get an ID, or whatever, they've thrown out all of this stuff, and people are falling for it hook, line, and sinker. Mainly, honestly, most of them are white liberals that, because I know a lot of black people, I know a lot of Hispanic people in those areas, and every one of them I've known and talked to have said that they are all for voter IDs. Okay, so the left is pushing this narrative to try to brainwash people. I mean, you watch, they're going to go after each and every Republican governor, mayor, all of that pushes back against their narrative. It's just, they're going to keep lying about these people to try to drum up hatred for these people, to try to keep them from being able to be reelected and so forth, to ruin their political careers with nothing but lies and false allegations. We've been witnessing this for a long time. I mean, the whole presidency of President Trump, they did this to him. False accusations, false narratives, lies. I mean, and, the man didn't necessarily help himself in a lot of these cases, but I could see where his point, of what he was doing as well. But anyhow, I'm going to shut up. I'm rambling on. This has been Dan. I hope you all have a good night. Please think for yourselves. Don't just follow the crowd. If you want to email me, have a question, comment, a suggestion for a video, whatever, if you just need somebody to talk to, email me. I respond back to my emails. I check my email regularly. I have no problem just conversing with people. If you want to donate to my channel, there will be links down in the description below. If not, hey, it's all good, man. Anyhow, y'all have a blessed night. Take care. Watch out for yourselves. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.